If you have questions, we have answers. Join us live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Talkin' RV Tech, presented by RVTravel.com.
Here's a sample from one of our recent shows.
So Joe has a fifth wheel, 40-foot fifth wheel, not pre-wired for solar. I'm asking what would be needed to get the inverter to power select 120 volt outlets. Should I install new outlets, use a transfer switch, etc.? Zach's our solar guy.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what you're trying to do. So like when we go through and we set them up, whether they're pre-wired or not, a lot of times if you get something like any of the larger Go Power inverter chargers, or they have a pre-built-in transfer switch in them, so you don't have to get a separate transfer switch. Some of the other nicer ones do that as well.
Different to like the pass-through, right?
Yeah, so he's talking about using a transfer switch. You can install new outlets if you want to. We just wire the entire distribution panel, and then the customer needs to be selective about what they're going to use. That's the way that we go ahead and do it. So that way we can take that incoming line that normally would come in, and that's what's going to come from now the inverter charger into that panel and liven everything else, because the pass-through side of that inverter charger is still going to allow you to use the regular shore power. So it really depends upon what you want. Doing it that way, I feel, is easier. A lot of times too, what we'll end up doing is leaving the converter in place, but we'll either have it unplugged or we'll turn the breaker off. So that way, you know, if the system fails down the road, you still have something. You can now plug that back in or use that breaker. Now you can still charge.
Right. And you typically would see like this, and you've got the breakers, and this one would be for the converter, which is right off to the outside. But this is a, no, this is a Progressive Dynamics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, to kind of it's up to you. Whatever you feel like you want to do. If you want to sit there and try to run all that stuff, I feel like that's a pain in the butt.
Yep.
You can wire the whole distribution panel and then just be selective about what you're using. If you have a 2,000 watt inverter charger that gives you like, 16 and a half amps roughly. So you know when you're on the inverter, that's what you have to play with. You just need to be mindful about, hey, what does this pull? What does that pull? So that way, if you're running multiple breakers, you're not overcomping what that is.
And Joe, I'm sorry, Joe, all I was going to say is depending on whatever brand you're using, like if it's Go Power or Zamp or whichever company you're going with, get to know their tech support guys. See if they'll do like some FaceTime with you so you can say, hey, here's what I'm looking at, you know, or be able to email them a picture or whatever. If you get stuck, don't, you know, if you're not familiar with it, don't hurt yourself or damage the coach or, you know, cause something that.
Yeah. And Go Power and Zamp are now owned by Dometic.
Yeah.
So they're not fighting each other and, you know, so either one you call. But Zach, do me a favor and talk a little bit about portables versus on the roof panels.
As in just in general?
Well, in the same setup that he's wanting to do. I like the portables myself because, you know, you think about it, the reason you need solar panels is you're boondocking. You got to recharge those batteries. You're not plugged into something. So when you're going out someplace, you know, you have to be out in the sun to get that roof mounted panel to be able to get the solar charging power. Well, that means you're going to run the interior temperature up 20, 30 degrees out in the sun. And since you don't have power, you're not going to run the roof air conditioner. So you got to run a generator. So you get underneath the sun and you put those portables out. So how would he hook that up in that same scenario?
So number one is solar is the only thing solar is doing is charging the batteries, just so everybody's on the same boat there. That has nothing to do with your inverter system is separate from that. Your transfer switch is separate from that. Solar is just charging the batteries. If you're trying to run a solar plug-in setup, you know, you can mount that, run it directly down to the batteries, and then it's a plug and play. We don't sell as much portable stuff here as we do roof mount. Though California has a lot of nice weather and other nice things, there's a lot of crime. So people tend to snake a lot of portable stuff.
Plus, you know, if putting it on a roof, a customer's always concerned with, you know, hey, putting it on a roof. It's no more concern than anything else that's on your roof.
But he's right when it comes to charging. Like if you're not that whenever a solar company or anything is listing you information regarding a solar panel, what's most important over everything is the charging amps. A good way to think about it is like voltage is you touching something and amperage is you pushing it. So the more, voltage, it's easier to push something, right? So a lot of times what you're looking at is the actual charging amp rate. So like 190 watt Go Power panel charges at 9.4 amps, but that's optimal. That's like direct sun overhead, panels clean, everything's perfect.
Panels clean.
Yeah, if you're off to the side, and the sun's barely coming, you've got a lot of tree coverage, whatever it may be, you're not really pulling that. Where having a portable would be nice because you could just run it out to the side where, 10 feet away, you have perfect sun.
Yeah. The only downside of a portable that I have seen is if you do a lot of, sightseeing and out away from your rig, it's out there easily for somebody to take.
Yeah.
But they're so easy to set up anymore. They're suitcase style,
Yeah.
swing open, and they got alligator clips, or you can put an actual side port in. And most of your trailers now are coming with a side port on. And you're right. The nice thing in the morning is that I can angle that right towards that 8 o'clock sun, where that unit on the roof is probably not only going to get about a 6-hour charge.
And they do have some of the roof mounts that you can angle too. You can direct.
You can get mounts.
Yeah, you can tell them. Join us live this coming Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Talking RV Tech.
You can join us on any of the YouTube or Facebook destinations linked below.
We hope to see you there.